How's everybody feeling with this 2024? So happy 2024, small business owners. If you're starting a small business or if you're currently owning a small business, we're going to talk about some new laws that go into effect for 2024. Alrighty. My name is Josh from the University of Verne Small Business Development Center, and here at the SBDC, we help small businesses start and grow with free one-on-one consulting and free video guides and resources just like this live stream. It's going to be a little bit more impromptu because there's some new information that's just coming out for 2024, and we're starting a new format, and hopefully it's something that you guys actually like. So, like I said, today we're going to be talking about new laws in 2024. This is going to be for, small business owners who are just starting out, some things they're going to have to look out for. And if you are a current small business owner, this might be something that you need to keep up on. You may not necessarily look at the new laws and see how things work out, but now that it's 2024, there might be some things you need to keep your eye on when it comes to moving forward with your business. So what we'll do is, it's not just going to be a little bit of information. I'm going to actually show you the laws. We're going to actually run through some of the language so you understand what the heck am I need to keep up with when it comes to new laws for 2024. So let's get into it real quick, and let's pull this up. Alrighty. So let's get to our first law, which actually went into effect last year at about July 2023, but it's going to be new rules for contractors in respect to workers' compensation. And so let's remove this little chyron right here. And so what you as a small business owner need to worry about if you're a contractor is that contractors will now have to require certificates of insurance for different contracting classifications. So for example, if you are an HVAC, asbestos, or tree service contractor, you will now need to have a certificate of insurance for workers' compensation if you have no employees, 0 employees. I believe roofing contractors are already doing this. So let's take a look at the law right here. So HVAC contractors, we have asbestos contractors, and tree contractors, arborists. There was already one here for roofing contractors. They've already had to comply with this so far, and this went into effect July 2023, so we're a little late on this, but this is something that you have to look at and you have to comply with for these classifications for 2024. Now, there is an extra thing that you'll need to actually understand is that in 2026, as of January 1st, 2026, all contractors will need to have their certificate of insurance for those who have 0 employees. So they're going to expand this over the next 3 years for all contractors. And what this means for you as a contractor is that if you have a contractor's license and you don't comply with this, you can get your license suspended. So you won't be able to work as a contractor. And so that's the impact for small businesses. I know there's a lot of small business owners who may have like 1 employee or no employees. You're a HVAC kind of contractor who helps install small systems, does repairs, things like that, if you already do. And so this is something that's going to impact you to have workers' compensation insurance. But how do you get workers' compensation insurance? Well, you'll want to go to an insurance, your insurance provider. If you already have one for business insurance, they also can do workers' compensation. And you'll need to inquire about how you can get workers' compensation insurance for your business. And so what you'll need to do is you'll need to inquire with them, see what the rates are, because it's going to be an extra cost for yourself, and you'll need to budget that for your business. Now, it's another headache. It might be something, insurance, I don't like it. Small business insurance, it makes it a little bit easier, but it's not something you need to worry about. But, that you don't want to worry about. Nobody wants to worry about insurance. So this is just going to be another thing that you'll have to kind of keep in mind when you're starting a business, and even when you're running your business, especially as a general or classified contractor. But if you have any questions so far, we can answer anything that you might have. But let's transition into another rule that we're going to have to kind of worry about. And the next thing is going to be sick days. So as an employee, you probably work for a larger company. And so sick days are really good for you, because then you can you would be able to miss work and still get paid for it. As a small business owner, this is an extra expense for you. And so we need to understand what exactly this is going to affect you as a small business owner. So next thing is going to be expanding on paid sick leave. So what this is that in California, employees are covered with 3 sick days required by law that you would have to be able to be entitled to 3 days or 24 working hours. In the state of California, they're expanding that to 40 hours or 5 days. Employers, according to this law, employers are not allowed to limit the amount of sick days for less than 40 hours. And they also can't retaliate against you as the employee for using sick time. So as the small business owner, this is something you're going to have to worry about, only because it's going to be an extra expense that you'll have to incur as paid sick time, and figure out about accruals. And so let's take a look at this. So the bill would modify the employer's alternative sick leave accrual method. So you have no less than 40 hours of accrued sick time. So they'll have to adjust for that in your payroll, or pay time off after the 200th calendar day of employment in a 12-month period. And so that's something that you'll need to think about. That's going to be your threshold for employment for new employees and things like that. And so we'll have a link in the description about all of these laws, where you can find them, you can read them, and things like that. So these are things you're going to have to kind of think about when it comes to sick leave and accruals. But this also accounts for the minimum wage and $15 an hour, which actually has gone up. I believe it's at $16 an hour for the state of California. But those are things that you're going to have to think about as far as what you'll need to kind of worry about when it comes to employees, hiring employees, the benefits that you offer them. Not all small businesses offer a lot of benefits or can offer a lot of benefits. So this is a mandatory benefit from the state of California that you'll have to offer when it comes to sick time off, PTO, things like that, along with all of those things. But one of the other kind of interesting things is that the bill excludes railroad carrier employees, employers and their employees from these rules. They have their own set of rules because they have unions and things like that. And it's only railroad carriers. So as a small business owner, doesn't apply to you, but that might be something you kind of want to read this rule, see what other provisions there are. It's pretty short. There's not a lot that you would have to do, but these are the actual rules. Um, so, construction industry. This so this really talks about where they came to the conclusion that you would need extra time off, mostly because of union employees, construction industry. They don't really get a lot of time off when it comes to that. So the rationale behind that, and for entry level workers and things like that, they couldn't get a lot of time off and still get paid and still keep their jobs. So this law was specifically enacted so that people could have time off or take time off, to recover from sickness, mostly due to COVID. A lot of people got sick during COVID and had to take time off. And now a lot of those mandatory rules of, the mandatory time off that you could, when you get sick, have gone away. And now we're back to whatever those rules were before. And so now they've enacted some new things so that you can basically, in the event you do get sick, have some time to recover and get better and still keep your job. So like I said, these are a lot of different things. There's a lot of different industries that this will apply to and how it applies to them. So if you want to read any of this stuff, if you're really into that, reading the rules and the laws and everything, you can. We'll put that information that you can get access to. But let's transition to one more. Is going to be fast food. Now, this may or may not apply to a lot of small business owners, but this applies to an entire industry, so I figured I'd cover this. So this law enacts a couple of different things. So it adds what's called a fast food council, which is going to be a whole nother body of kind of like oversight, which will cover health, safety, employment, and minimum wage for the fast food industry here in the state of California. And what it really does is it's going to be setting standards for all of those things, but also, as its first act was to set a standard minimum wage for fast food workers starting at $20 an hour. And so, where is that $20 an hour at? So, there's also some other things, some other provisions. So, it starts at $20 an hour. But now you said fast food. Well, what does fast food mean in this law? What fast food means in this law is that you have to have 60 locations. So let's actually just read it. So it means limited service restaurants consisting of 60 establishments nationally. So if you're talking about a larger brand, something like McDonald's or Burger King, Chick-fil-A, if they have more than 60 locations in all of the United States, then you're going to be, you as the business owner of any of these franchises would be subject to the $20 an hour minimum wage. And so as a small business owner, if you're running a small restaurant and you have a few locations, this doesn't really apply to you. But if you are looking to franchise as a franchisee, now you have to understand, well, what does this mean? The franchisee will need to understand that they'll need to pay $20 an hour if you know that chain is going to have more than 60 locations, and now you're subject to the $20 an hour minimum wage. But what this also means is that $20 an hour is going to start. And so the $20 an hour is the starting point, and then it'll increase at 3.5% at the rate of inflation per year. And so that is something that you'll want to kind of understand, especially as a franchisee. That's not a lot of money when it comes to inflation, but at the outset, $20 an hour is a big minimum wage to kind of begin with. So a lot of small business owners who have, little office jobs or something like that, and who have hired employees, they're not paying them $20 an hour. Now, remember, I mentioned before, the minimum wage right now is going to be $16 an hour for most businesses and for most employees. So if fast food is now $20 an hour, that's pricing a lot of people out of the market. It's better to just go to fast food than it is to any other kind of small business who may need to be looking for workers. And so this is going to impact how and when you're going to be able to hire people, because there's already kind of a worker shortage, or there has been for the last couple of years, and now this is going to basically exacerbate the situation, where a lot of people are going to be, well, I can just go get another job in fast food, which may not be something they like, but also means that franchisees who are looking to hire people may not necessarily be able to hire people for stuff like McDonald's, because yes, the pay is enticing enough, but as a business and as a national brand, McDonald's and a lot of other fast food places are using kiosks and other technology to avoid having to pay $20 an hour and things like that. So it's a double-edged sword when it comes to employees and the employer. Everybody's running a business. We want to turn a profit as a business owner. And so this might be something you need to look at and understand, hey, might be cutting into my profits. And you'll just have to, if you're a franchisee, there might be some way to streamline your processes. And as another small business owner, this might be something you would have to work at to, again, streamline your processes. Because if it's hard enough to find your employees now, it might be even harder as this year comes and the next few years when it comes to inflation and other things. Wages are just not growing enough for other people, and a lot of people are kind of going out of the market. We've seen an influx of a lot of small business owners looking to start a business. And so those are employees who are not going to a job. Those are people who are looking to start a business. So a lot of people are checking out of the market and doing other things. So that might be the impact that you'll see as a small business owner looking to hire employees. But again, that's something you need to kind of think about as you run your business and as you're moving forward for this year. Next one is going to be a little bit controversial and a little bit interesting. So this is going to be discrimination in employment and the use of cannabis. Now, we really don't talk about cannabis on our platform as far as in our videos and in our guides and things like that, because cannabis and marijuana and things like that are businesses that we cannot consult with based on our grant. So we get money from the federal government, and the federal government still recognizes marijuana and cannabis as an illegal substance. But in the state of California, it's fine. And so this is one of those double-edged swords, but it's also, it's a very important subject for people who own a business and who are looking to hire employees. Because what this law says is that you can't discriminate against an employee who uses cannabis in their off-duty time or their free time, and if you do drug testing. So how does that work? So it protects California workers from being discriminated against in hiring, firing, job conditions because they use cannabis outside of work hours, like I mentioned. But it means that you can't hold it against them if they use it out of work, as long as they are not showing up impaired when they come to work. So what does that mean? Well, that means for a lot of time, what has been the norm is they do random drug screenings, pre-employment screenings. For the most part, when it comes to drug screenings haven't gotten to the point where they can detect if somebody is impaired through a test. And so what ends up happening is that the substances that are in the system of a prospective or current employee are in that body for at least 30 days after they've used it. Impairment is long since done, but those things stay in the body for 30 days. So any test, if they are a regular user, any test would come up positive, whether they're impaired or not. And so a lot of people didn't think that that was fair to employees. And so these drug tests are now no longer available. They're no longer useful when it comes to drug screenings for employees. So the tests, because they cannot test for the regular impairment or anything else like that, but they stay in the body for 30 days, they're no longer useful, and they're no longer used in drug screenings. This applies to private and public employers if they have more than 5 employees. But what this also means is that you can still do drug testing for other substances. The class 1 harder narcotics, opiates, and things like that may be a sign of impairment when you're taking the drug test. They're able to still use those, but you're not going to be able to use a cannabis, THC, marijuana drug testing kit for this particular use in the state of California. So no matter what your stance on cannabis or drug use when it comes to as an employee or as a personal user, this is an impact on small businesses because they can't use drug testing for this particular substance anymore. And you also can't, I don't believe it doesn't say anything about asking if you were a user, or that might not be something that you can do in an interview, or if you've had any offenses in the interview. So you can't use that as a discriminating factor when hiring or firing or during the job conditions if they're a current employee. So, like I said, whatever your view on it, this is what the law is, and this is how we have to kind of navigate it from now on when it comes to yourself as an employer looking to find employees here in the state of California. So, now those are all state of California laws for now. That's everything that's basically come up to start working in the 2024. There is one more law that we're going to talk about that is actually federal. So the federal laws that we are going to talk about are going to be for a interesting reporting requirements. What this is the federal government has enacted a entity, I guess you could call it, it's called the Financial Crimes Enforcement Network from the Bureau of the Department of the Treasury. Now, I am not entirely sure if this was formed before all of these rules came out, or if this was in response to that, because this literally just came into existence. However, so let's take a look at it. So what this is the Financial Crimes Enforcement Network is putting together regulations regarding access to authorized recipients of the beneficial ownership information. And we'll talk about that a little bit more when we get into what you're actually needing to do as far as reporting to for the FinCEN. But it's in pursuant to Section 6403 of the Corporate Transparency Act, enacting a law as part of money laundering of another act for money laundering in 2020, which is also part of a National Defense Authorization Act for fiscal year 2021. And so a lot of these things are basically coming together, and now they're coming out with these rules of what you need to do as far as a business, corporate transparency. But this is a little bit more than corporate transparency because, and like I said, I will put the information about where you can find these rules and what exactly you're going to be needing to provide as far as information. But at the outset, this is what we're going to do. So rules for beginning February 20th, 2024. So in, say, about a month, you're going to need to provide some information to the Bureau of the Treasury via an online portal, which is not yet active. But the information you're going to need to put in is going to be company information, which includes the legal name and trade name. So LLCs, as a DBA, anything else like that. The physical address of the business, the jurisdiction of the formation. So this applies to all 50 states, as far as I know. And so whatever jurisdiction, whatever county or state that you belong to, you're gonna have to put in that information, and the EIN, so they can track the information to the specific business. The other thing you're going to need to provide is going to be reporting of the beneficial owners and company applicants. So the individual name of the owner, date of birth, and home address. Also, a valid ID, driver's license, or passport, so they understand who that particular person is going to be. There are some exceptions to this rule. And so what are the exceptions? Exceptions are going to be tax-exempt entities and large companies. Well, what does that mean? A large company can be an LLC or a corporation with at least 20 full-time employees and who have a physical presence in the U.S. and have $5 million or more in revenue. So if you're anything less than that, you're going to need to provide your information to FinCEN. If you're more than that, you don't have to, and I'm sure there's going to be some other means of them getting that information, especially if you're going to be a national corporation, LLC, something like that. There's probably some provision for them. But what that also means is that determination of your beneficial ownership, which means the owners of, say, if you were a single member LLC, you own 100% of it. Same thing with if you're doing anything for like government contracting, you have to put in owners who own at least 20%. In this case, it's going to be at least 25%. Or substantial control. That's what's in the law. And so let's take a look at some other information about what you're going to need to put in. So the reporting requirements in this guide aren't in effect until January 1st, 2024, but a lot of this stuff won't even be available until, say, February or so. But that's something you want to think about. And then you can go to the FinCEN right here, .gov/BOI, so you can find out the information that you're going to need to provide to the government. And so let's say reporting, we already went over that. When do I need to file a report? At least, starting January 1st, 2024. But like I said, they don't even have the portal open so that you can actually file a report. But you'll have some additional time once they start taking reports and having the means to file one. So these are all the different chapters that we can go over. We won't go over them. I'll have a link to that in the description and in the comments. But like I said, this is going to be, it's more for money laundering and financial crimes. So this is the reason why you're going to need to report. But if you are a business in the U.S., so what you'll need to do is, here's a handy flow chart that we can kind of take a look at to see whether or not you need to be reporting. So if you were formed in the United States, do you follow U.S. laws? If you're in the United States, of course you do. And so is the company a corporation? If your company is not a corporation, we can go down. Is the company an LLC? We can go down. If it's a sole proprietorship, was the company created by filing a document with the Secretary of State and the similar office under the law of a state or Indian tribe? So say, like I said, a sole proprietorship, you're not filing any of those things in any state, then you would not be a reporting company. If you are if you're a corporation, then you would need to be a reporting company. If you're an LLC, you would need to be a reporting company. If you were formed through the Secretary of State, say like a limited partnership or PLLC or some other type of S corp or anything else like that, or in an Indian tribe, if any of that applies to you, you may be a domestic reporting company that you would need to report to the FinCEN. And then also, if you are if your business was formed in a foreign country who operates here in the United States, you also may need to be a reporting company. But this doesn't really according to this chart, this doesn't apply to general partnerships or sole proprietorships possibly, but that may change later on. But for now, there are different exemptions, who this applies to and things like that. Again, I will have this information down in the description so that you can take a look at all of these laws. But for the most part, it's a lot of things that you'll have to take a look at, a lot of information. So if you are a reporting company, this is something you'll have to do, but at a later date because they don't have the portal up. How does this apply to most business owners? It probably won't. It may not. Like I said, the information will be there for you to understand. If you need to talk to, say, a lawyer or somebody who helps you with compliance as a business, then that information will be available for them to kind of look over and see what your next actions will need to be. But for the most part, all of these laws affect different industries. And so no matter what your industry you're in, you'll need to understand what applies to you, what doesn't apply to you. And if you are looking for help with that, specifically what things you'll need to stay up with compliance, or if you're looking to start a business, what things do you need to understand or have when it comes to setting up your business if you're a new business owner, you can give us a call here at the University of La Verne SBDC for free. We offer free one-on-one consulting in person or via Zoom so that you can get your best foot forward when it comes to starting your business and being in compliance in managing your business once you get started up. But question of the day, what do you think of these new laws? Are they onerous? Are they interesting? Are they something that you think you can comply with, or are they going to be overly annoying, as most people think laws are? But let me know if there are any laws that specifically impact your business. And so, like I said, this is kind of a new format that we're trying out. If you'd like to see more of this, more of like a podcast style, let us know down in the description below, in the comments. Let us know if you like this, and if you have any other ideas about how we can improve, let us know. But this is Joshua. I'm Joshua from the University of La Verne SBDC, and we'll sign off, and we'll see you next time. Thanks, and have a nice day.